Good morning. I hope you all are having a lovely weekend. Hearing some of us are going to a reptile expo, which sounds really cool. Let's see if I can get our music working properly here. That's better. Much happier. Okay, so today we're going to do a little bit of bookbinding, and if there's time, which I'm sure there will because it takes a lot of time for these things to glue and dry, we'll do some bookmarks too. And I'm hoping that I'll get everything ready in time for June 1st so that I can get things into the Etsy shop, because I'm hoping that the designs we'll create today will be able to raise some money for different LGBT plus communities. I said it right that time. Letters are hard, you guys. When you have dyslexia, it's really, really hard to get all the letters in the right order. So acronyms are challenging. So yes, that's what we're going to do today, some bookbinding and hopefully some bookmarks. And I'm hoping that you all can help me with some design choices that I'll need to make today. So opinions are always good and welcome. And I am a little caffeinated, so be warned. And with that, off we'll go. Okay, so on my desk, I already have the start of, thinking of the word here, basically the text block. That's the part that goes in the book and has all the words or the papers on it. And I could use some help deciding what we think about the design for the text block, because I have in here basically just sketching paper. I kind of wanted to do lined paper, but turns out making your own custom lined paper is a process. We'll go with a process. I was going to use the word challenging, but that's not entirely accurate. So we're going to go with it's a process. So I used extra sketching paper that I had to put in here, and basically they're just individual folds. So when you open it up, because for me personally, I hate this, is when you go to sketch and it doesn't lie flat. So I wanted a lie flat sketching paper. So we're going to create what's called a perfect bind text block. So that's when you're using usually individual sheets of paper. So if you ever purchased a magazine or something like that, they're using perfect bind. The other way to do it is in reams of paper. So what they do is they take the folds and put them inside each other, and then sew those together and then glue those together into a text block. But instead I'm going to glue sheets together. So I have folded my sheets into singles. So these are like singlets being glued together. Not that kind of singlet. But so that way I've got like some folds being opened up, because I didn't want just individuals. That can put a lot of stress on your glue binding, and I didn't want to do that on a sketch pad. That's just, yeah. So if any of you have ever purchased like the foldable out sketch pads in an art store, which I'm sure most of us have, it can be a lot. Like that binding, it's a goner after a couple of months. So I didn't want that to happen with this either. So folding the reams into singlets like this will help it, because then the paper is acting as an additional binding agent as well. So that will help us out. And I'm using a kind of cover on these. Oh, what's the name for it? I'll look it up later. I don't remember. We're actually not going to be able to get to the full cover today, because the linen that I ordered won't get here until like Wednesday. Tears. So you won't be able to see the linen, but it's basically this kind of light charcoal color, and it's going to wrap around the outside of the text block, and then the hard covers are going to glue on top, so it won't be like the full hardcover. Oh, maybe I have one here I can show you. Do I have one that not me that I've bound, that I can show you? Oh, here. Okay. So here's an example of like a traditional hardcover where it's got like the spine and the hardcover, okay? So this one's obviously been bound in leather. And then you have your text block on the inside. And I think this one's actually been Yeah, this one's even been perfect bound. What do you know? That's kind of fun. So yeah, so that's an example of being perfect bound in a hardcover. So basically what I'm going to do is it's not going to have this. This part's going to be fabric, but this part will be hardcover. That way we can glue our watercolor on top. Ta-da! And it will fold open nice and cleanly. Okay? Randomly just pulling journals down from shelves. Now stay and don't knock over dice. That's random. Okay, so if the question I have for all of you is, because I don't have colored sketch paper right now, toned colored paper. I did not make it up to the art store over spring break. It just didn't happen. Situations beyond my control prevented it. So the soonest I'd be able to go is like next week when school gets out, which is obviously too late for June 1st. So this is actually cardstock, and that's perfectly fine for end papers because one side's going to get glued into the hardcover and the other side is kind of just like helps stabilizing things. So that thicker paper is totally fine. The inside sort of decorative papers that I wanted to use as sort of like breaking up the sketch paper, also cardstock, because it's the only colored paper I have right now. And I'm wondering how you all feel about including these. Without it, I have plenty of these singlets. It would be something like 36 single-sided sheets and then just double it for both sides. So that's plenty of sheets of paper, not a big deal. I'm actually wondering where that sheet of paper just went, but that's okay. I had an extra to demonstrate with. Oh, there it is. So basically a singlet, there's 16 of them. I have 16 singlets, and then it's 2 pages, right? So that makes it 2, and then it's double-sided. So it's basically a 4 piece of paper in a singlet, and there's 16 of them, right? So multiply by 4. I'm not going to do the math. Just know that there's plenty of pieces of paper in there for a sketch pad. But my concern is, so I don't lose it, adding those in, even though it breaks it up and creates a nice visual effect. I've never drawn or painted on cardstock before. I don't know how that works. I don't personally use cardstock because I don't do a lot of mixed media. I paint on things that's probably not meant for watercolor. I don't know if that counts as mixed media, but I don't like I've used craft paper for things it's not meant to. And I'm gonna do it again today. But I've never like used cardstock for that. So I don't know what will happen if someone like draws on this and uses it for that. I don't know what will happen if someone writes on it and uses it as a journal. And I'm like a little sketched out that I might sell this and someone's going to be like, you know, Chelsea, I tried to use your journal and I'm going to be like, I don't know what to tell you. So if anyone's used cardstock before, please let me know because I'm curious. So while we're thinking about that, what's going to happen today is I'm going to start binding them with glue. This glue, and yes, it's Sobo. Shocker. Because that's the only glue I use. So I'm going to, where is my, here, my like scratch bookmark that I use for things. So I'm going to basically make like a big puddle of glue and brush it on with one of my like crappy brushes I don't care about, which reminds me that I need to pull that part in, my awkward reach. That's not it. This is it. Come, brushy. Okay, so this is my like, I don't care what happens to it brush. It's actually held up really good for one of those like knockoff $1 brushes. So if you know anything about Utrecht brushes, maybe go buy some. I don't know. I would never use it to paint though. It is kind of a crappy brush, but it's held up really well for everything else. And then I sadly don't have binder clips. Persons in my family absconded with them. So these are refrigerator magnets. And then we're just going to clip it like this. I obviously haven't set this up correctly, but because we're still having thoughts. But we're going to clip it and then put the glue on just along the spine. And then, because I don't use a book press, because I am cheap, some stereotypes are true. Not all the time, just currently. So what I'm going to do afterwards is I'm going to stack like a few heavy books. So you'll see me like leave and just sort of press. Normally what you would do is you would have like a book press. This is the reason why I don't own one. Anyways, if you were doing this like full time, I totally understand why you wouldn't want to have just like 10,000 dictionaries sitting around. But a book press is basically two thicker pieces of wood. I'm guessing true cut 1 inch or thicker. I'm not going to get into the difference between true cut and construction cut, but a thick piece of wood, and there's two of them, and it's basically like a clamp pushing down on the binding of your text block. I don't have one because they're like $60 and I'm not paying that much for wooden clamps that I could get in the garage from my dad. That's basically one reason why I don't have a book press. So when we get down to that, I'm gonna like leave off screen and you'll see me, and you'll probably hear me be mad at books for a couple of minutes as I like press them down, but that's basically what will happen. Good morning. Welcome, Cameron. I see you pulled yourself away from ARC. Are you a little addicted? It's okay. I'm addicted to a watercolor, so I feel like I can't judge. I'm pulling glue off of this so that I can get the cap open. I occasionally leave it slightly open, which isn't a big deal with Sobo because it's so thick anyways, it's never going to dry. In a bottle anyways. You're multitasking. That's nice. Come over here and multitask for a second, because I know Tori is watching, but she's at an expo, so she can't really answer my question. I need to know about this text block for a second. So come back. Pull yourself away from ARC. I need to know if I should include these pieces of, I don't know if that's even picking up very well, of cardstock. My brain was like colored paper. Nope, that's not it. Cardstock in this text block for the book we're binding, because I don't know if we're going to be able to write on it. The gray is the end paper, so it's going in no matter what. End paper stays, it has to. Otherwise the book doesn't go together. But the colored ones for Pride, I don't know how well people can write on those, because I've personally never used it for anything, but it's the only colored paper that I have at the moment, and I'm wondering your thoughts on including that. I'm basically just running my mouth until I can decide. That's what it comes down to. Because I don't want to get the glue out until I know for sure. So you think on that, and I'll talk a little bit about what the front of the book will look like. Well, yeah, because people are going to write in them. Am I going to leave them blank? That was the question. Because it's a journal or a sketch pad, so I think you missed this part, but the singlets are sketching paper. So it's for whatever anyone wants to put in there to, oh, thank you for the follow. Good morning. I'm not sure that my brain can pronounce your name. I'm so sorry. Dyslexia is strong today. So that's a lot of L's or I's. But yes, thank you. Thank you for the follow. But yes, so this is just sketching paper, and I'm just not sure how that would work with the cardstock. Wow, I'm just all over the place today. But yes, so that's what's going on with that, and I'm trying to decide, because I can just pull those out. The end papers have to stay. Bali Firesmith. Oh, perfect. Thank you. Thank you for the IPA there. I appreciate that. I love it when people sound out things phonetically for me, because sometimes my brain will just be like, that's letter soup, and I can't do anything for you for that. And then someone will spell it out phonetically for me, and I'm like, I can do this now. Thank you. So I appreciate that. Thank you for that. That was very helpful. All right. So while we're thinking about whether or not we want to include those cardstock papers, my brain is on dust jacket now. This is kind of what the front's going to look like. On the front of the cardstock. Like, hold on. Let me get through the jacket. So, Cameron, I think we might be on two different things because you weren't here when I was telling about the full binding process. But after we've done the binding, there's going to be like a hardcover. And on top of the hardcover, there's going to be the watercolor. So it's going to be about this size, right? But I'm going to do this design. Focus, camera. Focus. There we go. So it's going to have the same kind of striped lines with this lettering. Maybe there's just a delay. I don't even know. Okay. See, yes. Now I see that we're a bit on the same page. But yes. So all the way across. Now I don't have out my binders board. I'm going to use Davy boards. I'm going to use the nice strong stuff because it could take us literally all day just to bind this, because I have to wait for the glue to dry before I do the next one and the next one. Plus, the cloth isn't here yet that I'm going to use for the spine. So I can't put the covers on anyways until the cloth is here. So once the cloth is here, put that around, put the covers on top, and then watercolor. So yes, so all of this cardstock inside, this is pages. So what I want to know is, do I include the cardstock pages? Because I don't know if you can write on the cardstock pages. Sketch pages, we're good. Most people call you Boily for the exact reason. Just not late for dinner. I like that. That's nice. Cool. Feel like we're going to be good friends. I like that sense of humor. Okay. Try writing on one. Do I have any scraps? I don't want to write on it and then find I can't erase, because they're kind of pricey. Hold on. I'm going to try to find a scrap of paper. Okay, I'm back. I do have a scrap of paper. So let's see. Do I have a pencil? I do. Haha. Normally I keep like brushes and supplies by my desk because I'm mostly doing watercolor, right? Every now and again I do remember the pencil. So let's see. Let's try writing. Good morning. Hey. Okay, so I know it's probably really faint for you all because my camera's like watercolor distance, but that's not bad. I was pressing a bit hard because I wasn't sure how hard that would show up, and I am using a 2H pencil, which isn't the normal writing one. Normally that's a 2B. Sorry, I have like this weird little itch just below my nose, and I keep like absentmindedly scratching it. I promise I'm not like doing anything weird. I just have a weird itch. Okay, so that worked pretty good. I wonder what it looks like with a pen. Hold on, I'm gonna grab my gold pen really quick. And I'm gonna need this in a second anyways for, so let's see. Ooh. I like it with pen. That went on really smooth. Although I am worried about smudge. because I see that that's, is there going to be a smudge? Ooh, yeah, there was a little smudge on that pen. Although gel pens do tend to not dry that quickly, so I don't know if you all can see that smudge there. I only smudged the smiley face. But gel pens do tend not to dry as quickly as some things that I'd like. So, okay. Yeah, we'll leave it in then. Sorry, I'm getting text messages and getting distracted. All right, so in that case, let's go ahead and start binding. I am noticing that not all of these are quite as folded flat as I like, so I'm just very carefully going to sneak out my yeah, left-handed gel pens. I have noticed a few of my students will come with like from being left-handed. I can't speak for all gel pens. I'm only speaking for, who's this? Pentel. Pentel tends to not dry as quickly as I'd like. That's all I'm going to say about that. But maybe the ones that are like you get at the Target or whatever and dry a little more quickly, maybe those are better. So I'm just quickly going over one more time with my bone folder to make sure everything's flat. I already did this earlier, so I'm just going to do it really quickly because I'm paranoid. And I don't want to start gluing and be like, this text block, is it flat? You can't hear me, but hi. Oh, is that because you're at the expo? Or is it because I've got audio issues again? Because that happens one time. I had really bad audio issues and literally like my audio got shut off and I didn't know because for whatever reason it was still registering in the mic mixer. And my mom was watching that night and she just like let me blather on and didn't say anything. And later, when it was all done, she was like, you know, your audio was dead for like half an hour. And I was just like, it's like, why didn't you tell me in the chat? Anyways, moms, what are you going to do? She's like, you were having so much fun. I didn't want to interrupt. I was like, Mom, part of the fun is talking to people in the chat if they can't hear you. Anyways, I guess she was just entertained by my animatedness. They don't even know. If you're laughing, I'm going to assume that means you can hear me. And are at least somewhat entertained by my bone folder. No jokes. No jokes. Although if Tori can't hear me, there probably will be no inappropriate jokes today. I'm surprised you all you can hear me. Okay, good. I'm surprised you all kept a straight face given how many times I said singlet. I was waiting for a rude joke. But so far, everyone's been very well behaved. I normally get an odd joke or two from you. And that's okay. It's okay to be a bit silly now and again. Okay. Luckily, this kind of sketching paper folds really cleanly. It's one of the best things about using quality art paper instead of computer paper. Not that there's anything wrong with computer paper, it's just that you kind of have to work it a little bit more. And if you don't mind putting the time into it, then that is a very cheap and easy way to get tons of paper for doing text blocks. Sadly, I do have to pay. You will always be well behaved. I think I might need a persuasion roll with that. Just kidding. Sadly, I do have to pay a little bit more to get good quality paper going on here, but it is worth it to me because I then don't have to really worry about much other weirdness happening. So I'm gonna clip these and hope that They are lined up perfectly. You'll notice there isn't a perfect, I don't know if you can see from this angle, but I'm seeing that there's not a perfect edge, and I'm okay with that because I personally like that kind of rustic look on some of my stuff, but I know that not everybody does, so that's something that will be noted when things sell. So like, I don't know if the camera will even pick it up, but there's just kind of like a rustic, I'm sure some of you have seen them when you've bought journals and things. There's just kind of like a rustic kind of, it's not a perfect cut because I did cut everything by hand on one of those old-fashioned cutting boards or whatever they're called. We've literally had that cutting board since I was a little kid. It's ancient. I would love to sharpen that blade. I was sadly overruled. Okay, so I've only put 3 on here. I would really wish that this one was longer, but I don't feel like I can really get it much closer to center. Again, my binder clips were absconded with. So we're making do with magnets. It is what it is. Okay, so now that the text block is ready for gluing, I'm going to move that to the side, and I'm going to move all of my extra papers far away from glue because I don't need there to be any accidents. But I do want my scrapbook mark back. Where did that go? Papers wander off from me. Oh, there they are. And I don't always know where they go. There we go. Coffee time. Huh. I've just been informed that some of our characters will be dying later today during my Dungeons and Dragons game. Kind of concerned. Anyways, I'll try not to be too worried about that. Okay, so I'm putting a bit of glue on here because we're going to sort of paint it on. I'm not doing a ton because I can always get more. Okay, and it's really important when I do this that I am not letting, I'm going to move these up just a smidge, that I'm not letting the glue get on the sides of my book. I only want it on the spine. It's okay if it gets on the cover sheets. I don't care about that. The end sheets. I don't care if it's on the end sheets. I do care if it's on the sides of the text block because that's how things don't open. So if you've ever bought like a handmade journal or even like an old style bound book and it just won't open, that's probably why. Binding glue got where it doesn't belong. Okay. So I don't need like a thick bit of glue on here because we are going to do layers, but I do want to make sure that everything gets appropriately covered. This part's kind of boring, sorry. But while I'm doing this, you all can tell me, what do you think of the music I've been using lately? I kind of switched it up and did something a little bit different. I kind of like it, but I'm wondering what you all think. I don't know how well it really comes through, but I am curious. You don't hear any music? Oh, here. Can you hear it now? I have it playing through my iPad because it's like a meditation app. And I wasn't sure I could link it through Streamlabs. Nope, not at all. Okay, that's fine. I'll figure it out. What about now? I'm so sad. I was the only one listening to music this whole time. Aww. It's fine. Very quiet. Okay. quiet I am okay with, because that means you all can still hear me. Although I do wish you could hear it better. There must be a way to like... wonder if I could make a playlist or something. Because supposedly I can download some of this music. I'll figure it out. I'm going to have tons of time over summer to do some of this stuff. I just want to like clamp this. There we go. So I'm going to just use my fingers. I miss my clamps. Becoming frustrated. I normally have more fingers because I don't have to like hold all of this in a place you all can see. I wonder. Oh, let's see. I'm gonna requisition this mug. There we go. This mug is now extra fingers. There. Because normally I'd have like the book propped up because I wouldn't have to hold it and be extra fingers because it would be all clamped and stuff, and I could just prop it somewhere and just glue, and then I could like hold things. To run that in the background and add a new source on Streamlabs. Oh, that's true. Why didn't I think of that? Durr. And I knew that too from theater. We used to do stuff like that all the time. See, this is why we have friends. To go, duh, Chelsea. Remember that thing you used to do all the time in theater when like something would be on one program but not the program you needed it to be on? You would just like cheat. I don't always remember things. Okay, we're almost done. I know this isn't very exciting. Do. Okay, there we go. All right, so this is the part where I have to go and be angry at dictionaries for a second. So, enjoy this brief video of a bookmark. See you in like 30 seconds. Okay, let's see. Heavy books. Don't move. There we go. I need more weight. Oh, perfect. GRE. That's perfectly heavy. Okay, I'm still putting books on things. I'll be back soon. Oh, nice. Okay, I'm back. Sorry, everyone. It turned out because of the cardstock that the books I normally use were not heavy enough. So I needed to quickly pull the GRE, which if you've ever used the GRE, it's like, that thing's a whopper. So I'm a little out of breath. Okay, but we should be good now. So I'm going to kind of clean this of glue really quickly because I know I can clean it off later, but I don't want it to get too nuts. So that needs to sit there until it's fully dry, which we'll see how long that takes. Maybe 15 minutes, maybe a bit longer, but we need to do at least 3 layers of binding, so which I know is not the most exciting thing to watch, so which is why we're going to do other stuff. Okay, so bookmark. Now we get to do other decision making, and I will love your opinions for this too. So for the bookmark, I know that I want to do this design, and I want to put it in these kinds of sleeves that I got. Let's see if I can gently pull it out of the sleeve here so that you all can see. So they're just kind of sleeve protectors, right? And I have these little colored tassels. Sadly, they're not here. I can't show you. But I kind of got them special, and they're rainbow colored. And so I thought it'd be kind of fun to put those in the shop, and then these are the bookmarks, but you pick your tassel color. That way, whether you're an ally or part of the community, everyone can kind of pick something that's unique to them. But the tassels won't get here till later today. Tears. So we're gonna do just bookmarks. That's okay. But I'm kind of indecisive about how I want the bookmark backing to look. So what I thought we could do is, because I have different pieces of paper here, is start with making the bookmark and then decide, would we rather have it be a bookmark that kind of looks like this, where it's basically just sort of the usual. Ray bought a snake? What kind of snake? Do I get pictures? Sorry, I'm very distracted today. But do you want the bookmark to be kind of like this cream on this sort of craft paper back and goes in there? Or would we rather it be this way with the watercolor paper on the cream bookmark back and it goes in there? We've got choices. So I'm going to put both of these on here and glue them up, tape them up. Oh, it would be bad if I glued it. Don't glue those. But that's what we're gonna do right now while that's drying. It is a female. Are we going to make some baby? Nope, ropes. Do you mean snakes? I don't understand. We've gone full circle here, guys. We're now talking about snakes. Okay. So I'm gonna go ahead and start taping down bookmarks. Goodness, we're like fully distractible here today. It's process. So it's a girl snake. What breed of snake? I'm still waiting to hear the breed. Cameron, text Tori, I want to know what the breed is. I just realized I'm talking to myself because she can't hear me. Oh wait, I can just put it in the chat. Wow, I'm tired. Okay, hold on. What breed? What breed of snake? Okay. I don't know if Tori's still here or not. There we go. Alright, and now I'm gonna tape down this one. I'm gonna sneeze. Whew. Oh, all that dust from the bookcase just like got right up my nose. Wow. That was, sorry guys. Just like right on up there. My goodness. Woo! Okay, and we're gonna do this one. Ah, bless me, thank you. I still want to know the breed of this neck. Like, are we talking a little baby python, or is it like, what are the ones with the stripes? I always liked the ones with the stripes. Like, I could probably never take care of a snake. That's just too much steps for me in a day. I can barely keep the rabbit alive. Like, that's enough steps. But I've always wanted one. I think they're so cool. Okay, I want it to kind of look like this, so I don't even remember what my measurements were, so I'm gonna measure. So I think that was like 1 inch, and that was 2 inches. Okay. Oh, do I know what that looks like? Hold on. I'm gonna Google. We're gonna Google things. Okay. I don't think I've heard of that. Female, so banana, oops, 66, there's that, het clown, het clown, we're looking up snakes. Oh, they're pretty. Look at a snake. That's very pretty. This has nothing to do with watercolor. Okay. Is that like a thing anyone can do? Snake breeding? I had no idea. Because I know like with some species, it's a process to breed, but it's not quite like breeding cats and dogs. Like there's a process involved. Like I had betta fish for a while. Don't get me started. The process. Oh, the process. So I know. I know. So yeah, enough said. We're just gonna leave it there. Let's see. Marking. Okay, I'm gonna turn so that I can mark these correctly because I want to make sure that I'm just kind of going up the rope here. Posthumously. Ah. And I see Tori sent me a message. I'm sorry, I'm not gonna be able to read it, but I will get to it eventually. Oh, I forgot. I have to do these like one at a time because of where the tape goes. That's annoying. Okay, that's fine. One at a time then. Gosh darn it. That sucks. Why did I do that to myself? We'll never know. It's all good. Okay. We'll just start with that. So I like to make sure all my tapes line up. I don't just kind of eyeball it. I'm very picky about my tapes. Because I can tell when things are off. I don't know if anyone else can tell. Maybe it's just me. My, like, neurotic little brain. Which is fine. Be neurotic. Actually, I should double check. Yeah, those are 1/2 inch. Okay, good. I'd feel very silly if I like made this design again and then was like, they look different. I wonder why. Probably because you were not paying attention the first time. Okay. And then I'm just matching marks. I know this part isn't the most interesting. So if you want to tell me more about snakes while we're doing this, you totally can. Because we're kind of we're done for now. We're just taping. I probably should have done some of this earlier, but that's okay. I know you all can't hear the music, but it's very bouncy and I like it. It's too bad that on Sundays there really isn't much to pull from the lore jar. Like, what lore would I even tell you guys about bookmarks? Oh, maybe I should Google lore about bookmarks so we could talk about it. Or bookbinding! Oh, that's lore we could talk about. There's a lot of lore about bookbinding. Okay. I haven't used this thin tape before, so we're going to see how this works. I used different tape the other day, and then it was very, very tacky, and I was not happy with that. It like ate 3 of my bookmarks. That was very sad. Only one survived that trial test. I was like, we're gonna upgrade to different tape and try this again. And that's why we test out designs before we do anything else. So I don't know how this tape's gonna work, because sometimes this kind of art tape bleeds a little bit because it's not very tacky. That's kind of like the one downside to using artist tape, is that it does bleed a bit. So we'll see, because I need really clean lines. We'll just have to see. I may be doing multiple test runs this week. Who knows? This may be my cue in to finally go get masking. I haven't been using masking. Because it's very expensive, and you do tend to go through a lot of it when you use it. So I don't want to pay $20 a jar for like this little bit of fluid of masking and then use it up, you know, once every couple of months. Like, I don't mind paying $20 for like the what's the wax? Dorland's wax, because you don't use very much of it, and it's good quality wax. But paying that much for a little bit of masking fluid that you're gonna run out of constantly, I just can't do it. I'd rather use tape. But then tape bleeds, which is sad. Okay. That's my rant for the day, is how expensive. I can barely see. Oh, there we go. It gets right there. We'll find out when I line up the tape incorrectly. I'm sure it's fine. I do wish this thicker cardstock bookmarks came in more colors though, because I do kind of like painting on it. You just have to be careful. But I can only really find it in cream lately. Like, I suppose I could get really thick craft and do that, but I'm lazy. Mass gain. I was going to ask if you were alright, or if Mike has gotten to you for calling you tiny. What? When did I say mass gain? I don't get it. Wait, like the video game? I need more details on that one. More context, please. Oh, is this about the masking? Oh, masking, because it sounds like mass gain. No, masking. Like, you're saying, yeah. Oh. Really? I thought you were just supposed to take, like the protein, whatever that is. Isn't that what people do, the protein? My brother used to be really into fitness. He's sort of toned it down a little bit to something that's more what I would consider a healthy level of fitness interests. Not to criticize those among us who are gym rats, but it wasn't like a good level of multiple times a day, okay, to the gym. Like there's healthy fitness level and then there's obsession. Oh, okay. Interesting. I'll have to Google that. And so there would be like protein powders and stuff in the house. So I know a little bit about things like whey versus etc., etc., etc. But, yeah. Healthy exercise is good. Obsessive exercise is just like anything else. Obsessive. So, what's wrong with working out multiple times a day? Well, let me ask you this. Are you on a competitive team? Because if the answer is no, then you probably are pushing your body farther than it needs to go. I'm just saying. Right? And it depends on what kinds of workouts you're doing. Because that's something that competitive athletes know how to manage and do appropriately. Not that our gym rat friends don't know how to do that. I am not making any assumptions here. I want to be clear about that. Often gym rats are former professional or collegiate athletes. I'm going to ignore Cameron for a moment so I can get through this. But it can quickly become an unhealthy level where you're just pushing yourself too far, especially if you haven't had that kind of training through athletics. And a lot of people do start and they haven't played a sport. I see it around here a lot, and I'm not making any assumptions. I'm just making a personal anecdotal observation. Okay, I grew up on swim team and I did it through college, and we often had split practices. So we might do swimming in the pool in the morning and then dry land training, which is kind of a lot like what you all might be familiar with in the gym, in the afternoon. And we would do that because it's a college schedule. There's only so much you can do all at once, but also because that's safer for your bodies. If you're doing 2 hours in the pool in the morning, you should not get straight out and go to the gym, okay? But some people do. And that's where it becomes unhealthy. Like, I've seen people stay at the gym doing various activities for like 4 hours. And I'm like, how are you not constantly injured? That's not healthy. You should not be doing that. Please don't. Cake mites bud. I'm gonna pass on that invitation. I did my time in martial arts dealing with friends like Mike. I feel I'm done. So, but thank you. Thank you for the invitation. Yeah. I've done plenty of time sparring with people who look at my height and not my skill, or my gender. Basically, girl must not be a threat. And I'm done. We're good. We're not gonna live that life anymore. What's it they say in Harry Potter? Professor, what's his name, of magical creatures retired to spend time with his remaining limbs. That's how I feel about that life and world. I've retired to spend time with my remaining sanity. I did my time, we're done. Kettleburn. Professor Kettleburn retired from care of magical creatures to spend time with his remaining limbs. That's why I retired from martial arts. Okay, we're almost done taping. I know this wasn't very exciting, I'm sorry. And then we can do some watercolor. Promise, promise. Okay, and then this side, I just want to see where it hits. There we go, about there. Almost. Like there. Okay, and then making another knot. Hello, good morning. If you just joined us, I am taping for watercolors. And we're going to do some bookmarks. I'm acknowledging that this part isn't the most exciting thing in the world, but we are almost done with the taping part. And then we get to do some watercolor parts. Oh, and we're also talking about the gym. I don't actually remember how I got on that tangent, but it has been entertaining while it lasted. And perhaps in a moment I'll go check on our text block that we're making for bookbinding earlier, because I do think it's close to being dry, and I just want to make sure we're doing okay there too with the pressing, because that was a bit thicker than I thought, and I don't want things to dry weird. So that way if it's not dry, I can always add more weight. Okay, a little more bit of tape on this other one. If you've just joined, I have two because I haven't decided on what size or color that I want, and I'm hoping by doing two designs, you all can help me make a good decision here today. So we're kind of doing a test run here on the bookmarks. I just want to make sure this really pins down so there's no bleed, because sometimes artist tape, there's a little bit of bleed, and I don't want that to happen. I think I can fit one more stripe here, so I'm just gonna see what I can see, and if I don't like that, later I'll just change it. It will be a very tiny stripe. Yeah, I don't know. We'll see. Yeah. Thought there's going to be a very wide stripe there. Maybe I can smudge it up. Okay. I think like there. All right, very tiny piece of tape. But also too, I'd be worried that that might curl a little bit. So I guess I'd rather there be more tape than less tape. Yeah. Okay, so we've got our stripes in. And apologies. While I grab our text block really quick just to make sure that it's doing okay, this is what our final bookmark is going to look like. So you all can think a little bit about, would we rather have the bigger one or the littler one on top of a bit of a background here? And we can also use this as a bit of a background as well. We have lots of options, and I'm going to grab the text block just to make sure it's doing okay. I'm just a little worried that it's been sitting too long. I'll be right back. Okay, so text block is still tacky, but that was definitely enough weight, so I'm going to leave it there. I don't know if it'll dry enough in time for us to add more glue and extra binding later, but we'll leave it there and we'll see how it does over time. Maybe tomorrow, because it's a holiday for me at least, and there's no work for me. I don't know about the rest of you all if you're still going into work tomorrow, but us educators, no work. No students, so maybe we can do an extra stream and see what's going on with that and update some stuff, because that might be kind of fun. Normally we don't get to stream during the day, but once summer's kicking in, maybe we can do some extra stuff. So in the meantime, we're just gonna let that sit. If it dries in time for the end of the stream, I will at least bring it over here and show you all what it looks like now, even though we can't really mess with it much because it'll be delicate until we get that 3 layers of binding on there. So we're just gonna have to be gentle, but I'll at least show you what it looks like until we get there. Okay, so I'm gonna keep this up here so I can remember kind of what I did the first time, and then let's get some watercolor going. I just realized I don't have water here. How did I miss that? Interesting. Okay, shoot, how do I fix this? Okay, bear with me. It's Sunday morning. We're all a little tired and blurry-eyed. I'll be right back with the glass of water. I'll be as fast as I possibly can. In the meantime, how about some music? Okay, here we are. Sorry about that. I'm gonna turn that down a little bit so we can all hear each other. Okay, perfect. My goodness, it's been a day. Alrighty, so we're gonna do just kind of like that gradient wash on there and see how things go. I'm thinking big fluffy brush to start, although that might be too big and fluffy. Let's go a little smaller. Small fluffy brush. Okay, and I'm gonna do a little bit of a wash to start. And we can wash as we go, but I found it's easier for blending if I just start with a little bit. This brush had some kind of fuzzies on it, so I'm gonna try to get rid of some of those. Okay. And when I'm doing gradient, I do kind of just like to go straight across and ignore the tape as much as possible because it kind of helps me blend. And we're gonna do layers. There'll be extra there, so I know it's like, oh, you put all that pretty color and now you're washing it out. Don't worry, we'll come back. It's not a big deal. There's gonna be layers of color. It's all good. And then I'm gonna come in here, and I know that looks really dark, but we're gonna wash up and wash down. And it's gonna look so cool when we're done. We have lots of cool colors in here. It's funny how much music I have on. I always still sing to my paintings, kind of talk to them. Was it the other day? I must have been on I think it was a game. We were on break, but I got out of painting to kind of like just chill and help me relax between things. And I absentmindedly started talking to one of my paintings. And everyone just kind of knew what I was doing. Like, oh, you're talking to a painting. Yes. Yes, I am. It's okay, guys. Just what I do. All right. I can't remember which green I used. Maybe I didn't. Maybe I just blended straight blue. Let's find out. Yellow. Yeah, I did. I just straight blended blue. Good to know for next time. I should really get that napkin back over here. I don't know what I did with that. That's okay. All right. Sometimes things puddle in strange ways, but we're just gonna. And last but not least, my favorite purple. This comes in here in the corner. Whee! Just a little bit of purples. Okay. It's a nice soft effect here. I feel like that's too much water down here in the corner though. I'm worried about how that's gonna puddle. So I'm gonna take a dry brush and just kind of gently get rid of some of that extra. We don't want things to puddle in weird ways. Like here and over here. It's just a lot of bother to try to blend it all back out. Okay, now let's do the other side. Same thing, we're just gonna start with a wash. Okay. And we're gonna go in with some red. And we'll do some orange. I actually kind of like the way this one's turning out. It's very vibrant, even though I didn't put a whole lot of color on there. I'm finding the watercolor paper is a bit paler, like I might need to layer a lot more. Not necessarily a bad thing, just an observation. Yeah, it's kind of interesting. Creates kind of a fun effect though. Okay. Cameron, you've been very quiet. Did you get sidetracked by ARC again? I think that's a yes. It's okay. It's good to have downtime and play video games. My downtime is watercolor. Yes. I kind of blended this green up too much, so I'm trying to take it back down, but I think I'm actually just kind of making it worse. I might have to wait for another layer to sort of balance this out a little bit. It happens. Yeah, I'm just like overdoing it entirely. Oh, that kind of helped. It's okay. I'll just be extra green. Oh well. I need to get back in here before that line dries too much. What's it Pete the cat always says? It's all good. They're just test bookmarks. It's not the end of the world. Okay, let's get a little bit of purple in here now. Okay, and again, I'm noticing a lot of bleed, so I'm just going to try to clean that up a little bit. See if I can get rid of some of this water, encourage it to just sort of stay in its lane. There's a weird thing happening up here with the red, so I'm going to pull a little bit of extra red, try to blend that out a little bit. There's probably just too much water or something. There we go. I don't want that to dry wonky though, because it's kind of bothersome to fix later. I probably just had too much water on my brush when I went to try to fix all that green. So that's okay. There we go, that's better. Alrighty, so it's gonna take a hot minute for everything to dry. So that might be where we're at for a little bit. Okay. Although, we do have the cover. What can I tape that to work on things? Taping, ba-da-ba-da-ba-da. Not that you all want to sit here and watch me tape some more, but that is kind of our last thing to work on. While I wait for things to dry. I know, not very exciting. Okay. That text box was still pretty tacky. I'm kind of curious. Well, we can always check text messages together. See. Oh, do you guys want to see the baby snake? I have a picture of the baby snake. Do you want to see? It's so cute. Are you guys gonna be okay if I show you baby snake? Look at it. It's a baby. Look at the wee baby. It's a wee baby. It's so cute. Look at its little face. Aww. Little baby snake. It's just a little baby. It's so cute. And it just fits in a little cup. That's so funny. It's like, here, we bought a cup of snake. Aww, look at it. I just love those little eyes. It's like, hi, I'm Snick. Oh my goodness. It's just so little. I did not ask Tori if I could show this, by the way, so I'm sorry. I just got a picture. It was so cute. Aww. I love it. That's adorable. Okay. I think we're gonna have to let these dry for a while. That definitely came out purple. I don't know why. That's weird. I definitely used red. Huh, interesting. It's never done that before. Okay. I am a little curious because I can lay this back down. Will it bleed? Does it bleed through here? There was no bleed! Sorry. I'm not going to pull the whole tape off and show you because it's kind of a bother. But there wasn't any bleed under there. That's going to be nice. Okay, good. Yay. That's much better. Haha. Okay, that makes me feel good about that. Okay. So what do we think, guys? Tomorrow, do like an update stream of where we're at with the text block? Because I can definitely finish it today, I think. Well, it might still be tacky because I feel like we're kind of at like the sit and just like watch paint dry point, which is not very interesting. I'm not gonna lie. Like, this is the most boring thing ever. But I can let these dry. I can get this to these points so that we're kind of here and doing another layer and then doing like some more of the text block. I know there's only so much we can really do with that until like all the end papers and stuff get here, but like we could work on a little more together and see where we're at. Could be fun. Totally up to you all though, because I know a lot of us will have stuff going on tomorrow, but because here in the United States it's a holiday. So, and I don't know, does Canada do holiday tomorrow? Is that a thing for you guys too? Because I know for us it coincides with V-Day. I have to double check that. Don't quote me on that. I don't know things. Just organizing. So yeah, I don't know. Anyways, I think that's just kind of where we're at with stuff organizing. Just absolutely organizing while I think out loud. Not that I know of. Yeah, I don't know. So a lot of you all might be at work tomorrow, huh? I don't know then. I'll think of something. We'll do something, some update. We'll figure it out. Yeah. Because I feel like if I go back over to the text block, wait, I'm tempted. Okay, hold on. Okay. So it's still tacky, and it's definitely not ready for the second layer, but it's safe enough for me to take out of the press. Press. Like I've said, I do not have a book press. I have books that press. Hi, I made a pun. Sorry. That was not intentional. That was just me being a dork. But this is what it looks like now. So before it was just loose singlets of paper, and we were binding using what we call perfect binding, where it's individual sheets or singlets and just glue on the binding. So this is the glue on the binding now, and this is our text block. Because it's still tacky, I'm a little sketchy about opening it. I can fix it. It'll be fine. So basically it'll just open up like this. I'm going to just be very gentle. And it will be a lay flat book once everything's done. I'm being very gentle because I don't want to break the binding, because there's only one layer of the glue on there. So there needs to be up to 3 layers plus the cloth. So we're not there yet. But this is what we've got. I'm being very gentle, of course. So yeah. Ta-da! Layer 1-ish. And then we'll put 2 more layers on throughout the day. It's holding pretty thick because of the cardstock, so I might not need to press with the other layers. I might just be able to glue, set, and let it dry, which would be better because then I can set it near the fan, and that will help. What's nice about Sobo is because it's both really strong. It's a craft and fabric glue, so you can literally put it on anything. I've used it on wood before. It's not a wood glue, but I've used it for that. I've used it for basically everything. It will hold on pretty much all the stuff. I call it the Gorilla Glue of crafting because it is just as strong as a Gorilla Glue. I think it's been tested that way to be that strong. Technically, you should use a PVA glue, yes, for bookbinding because of its flexibility and strength, but I've found Sobo works just as well. And it's cheaper. Anything that has to do with not crafting but craftsmanship tends to be more expensive. It's like the wedding tax. If you add wedding to anything, it suddenly becomes more expensive, even if they're the same cupcakes, for example, as you would get for a birthday, suddenly more expensive. So yeah, switching from crafting glue to craftsmanship glue, it's costing you more. Even if it's like the same thing in a different bottle. So that's why I tend to just go for Sobo. Yes. Because it can be used on paper, wood, ceramics, ribbons, dried or silk flowers, beads, chenille, leather, and feathers. And it's supposed to be flexible and permanent and won't yellow. Yeah. It does say don't get it wet, although I would argue that if your book has gotten wet, you have more problems than just your binding coming apart. So, yes, that's just that. Yeah, so I'm gonna press this a little bit longer just because I'm seeing in the middle that this could probably use, I probably just put a little too much glue on that part, but I also didn't have my proper binding clips that like go all the way across, sorry. And so I wasn't able to press that. And so you can see like on the edges, it's like perfecto, but in the middle it's like, oh, that's interesting. But it's not like anything I'm really all that concerned about. It just needs to be pressed a little bit longer. And then when everything's perfectly dry, I'll add that extra layer of stuff. I hear my rabbit destroying things, which is kind of my cue to go assist. So I'm gonna quickly clip this here to try to help with that. So yes, she's done apparently, which means I have to be done, sadly. But we've created some cool stuff today. We got our text block ready to go, and we can bind that fully and ready for the shop later this week. And we've got some bookmarks ready, and hopefully I can get those better finished later this week. Silbun, yes. I had to hold her during a game yesterday because she kept throwing things. And then she was like crying in my lap for attention, and the other players were like, what is that sound? I was like, my demonic rabbit. Shh, shh, no one needs to know. But yes, so that was what was going on in my game yesterday. I don't want to go grab her though, because we'll be out of here and then I'll be over there. Yes, so hopefully I'll have these done later, because I do kind of want your all opinion on what you think for the bookmark designs, and I do plan to get these all done and ready in time for June the 1st and Pride Month, yes. So hopefully we can raise some money for some awesome charities, and I'll get details out there, hopefully either Instagram or TikTok, which again did not link, sadly, sorry. It is a process. And then we can, pick some charities, get things going. It will be awesome. So until then, I hope you all have a lovely week. If it's a holiday weekend for you, enjoy your holiday. Be safe. If you're playing ARC, don't get too addicted. Remember, food and bathroom breaks are important. Cameron and Tori. Tori, I'm glad you got a cool snack. I want more pictures, please. And for the rest of us, I will see you all next time. Bye.